Haha, good morning. How are we doing? Metro's a little bit quiet. Let's get that a little bit louder. Good morning to you all. 3 of you already here. Wonderful. Welcome. I thought I would do things a little bit differently today. So I'm going to start off with my story of drummers that have inspired me. You can still join in on some single strokes while I'm doing this. Welcome, more people. Good morning, Andrew. How are you doing? Hope the weather is fine where you are. The sun was shining beautifully this morning. Now it's a little bit overcast, but there's still some blue sky in the distance. Hello, another new person joining us. 5 people to start off with. Beautiful. So I wanted to talk about not 1 but 3 drummers that have inspired me growing up. Chilly in the garage. Of course, I'm a bit cold as well. Hopefully, going to get nicely warmed up very, very soon. So 3 drummers that have inspired me growing up. I want to talk about community. I was really lucky growing up in Leamington Spa. Really big drumming community in Leamington Spa. And one place in particular, Dr. Drum, the drum shop. It's just 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So Dr. Was and still is run by a wonderful guy called Victor. And this place was just a haven for drummers. We would go there, tiny little shop, tiny little hometown, Leamington Spa. And we would go there, or I would go there on a Saturday morning, hang out. Vic would be there. Also Jack, my drum teacher, my second drum teacher. And a guy called Paul Brook, who was an older guy, Jack's drum teacher, in fact. Wonderful, wonderful drummer. All of them wonderful drummers and wonderful human beings. Community, very important word, especially at this time when, of course, we can't connect in the same way as normally. Can't go and hang out with people. Can't meet up with our friends, have a hug or a handshake, share a coffee and smiles. So we would go there. Numerous drummers would go there in the evening, daytime. For me, definitely Saturdays. Hang out, there'd be coffee on, perhaps a video on. We'd be watching the latest video from Zorro or Steve Smith, whoever we fancied that day. We'd share tips and tricks, practicing away on practice pads, chat nonsense, lots of jokes, always that British sense of humour. Lots of good laughs. It was lovely. It was so important to me growing up to have this support from these people, this sense of community, this sense of sharing, this sense that drums were to be shared. No one was hiding their tricks. No one was keeping their stuff secret. If you were there, you were a captive audience to be talked at. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and I guess a little bit like you guys are for me. If you don't want to be here, you can leave. It was the same at the drum shop, of course. But it was so, so lovely. Yesterday I found, while organising, a load of old sheets. All my old sheets from my old teacher, Jack. And these sheets, because we all shared, some of them were his, with his letterhead, Time Drum Studios. Some of them were from Dr. Some of them were from Brookie, from Paul Brook. And this is so important to keep this stuff. I'm always saying to my students, get a folder, get your stuff organized. I still have this stuff. I have it down next to me. I'm going to show you guys this in a bit. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Don't forget, guys, check your posture. Nice and relaxed. I'm playing a little accent today, just because I'm talking over the top. thought this would be a nice thing to do, just to keep us nicely in time. This place was just wonderful. These places are dying out, sadly, because of the plethora of online shops and this kind of normalness that we've discovered around online shopping. But what you miss with an online shop is this sense of community, this togetherness, this sharing, these tips that you get. Not just tips about drumming, tips about which sticks to use, which heads to buy, how to tune your drums, what the parts of the drums are called. So if you need to fix a drum, you know the name of the thing you need to buy to fix it with. Really, really wonderful, really important. I bought my first professional level kit from there when I upgraded from my crappy beginner kit. Lovely Yamaha Beach Custom, which is now in the possession of Jake, who may even be watching this morning as well. He was here yesterday. I remember going to see Brookie. Brookie was a wonderful, wonderful drummer. Sadly, he passed away about 15 years ago now from cancer. But of the three of them, Brookie was the guy who had done a ton of recording and a load of great stuff, a load of work with Cold Cut, a load of work with wonderful artists. Phenomenal, phenomenal technique. Really, really great player. And he was always there, happy to help, happy to give you tips and advice. I remember seeing him play at a little festival in my hometown called the Peace Festival. Peace Festival was a funny little hippie festival, selling food, weird tie-dyed clothing, and of course there'd be a couple of bands on as well, a couple of stages. Free festival, really, really cool little thing for this small town to have every year. One thing I remember him doing in particular was this lovely crossover thing between the snare drum and the floor tom, where he'd play a triplet rhythm like this, except with triplets, with groups of three. And he was playing those groups of three with that lovely, the left hand crossing over to the floor tom. I'd never seen anyone doing this before. And he was playing it with doubles. Really, really cool. Completely blew my mind. So yesterday on Facebook, I posted a photo of all these wonderful old sheets that I'd found from my old teachers and my old friends, tagging Jack and Victor in this post. I'm friends with them now on Facebook. Jack got back to me and he said, "Hey, I've got a little teaser for you." So he sent me this morning a little teaser, a little drum teaser. I've looked at it, but I haven't tried it yet. Thought I'd save it for you guys because it fits in nicely with what we were doing yesterday with the triplets. Really, really looking forward to trying that out with you guys. So in a second, I'm going to get that up on my phone, talk you through it. We can have a look at that together. And I hope that after this session, after this period of time when we're in isolation, we can use this as inspiration to want to get out and play more with other people, to share more and connect more with other musicians. Perhaps you're a musician who's just always kept it to the bedroom or the garage, however you want to say it. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... So maybe you can use this as impetus, as a little bit of drive to get you out of your rehearsal space on your own and start connecting with other drummers and also other musicians, playing with other musicians. I certainly hope so, because that human contact we're all, I'm sure, realizing now is so important. Carrying on this week, talking of community, talking of sharing, practicing on the pillow to show that anyone can do this. We don't need a drum kit to practice, to start playing drums, or to continue our practice if we're already established as drummers, as beginners, intermediate, or advanced players. Yesterday, I got a message on one of my YouTube videos from a guy in his 60s saying, "Thank you so much. I'm 60. This is exactly what I needed." Super cool. Message from someone in India saying they discovered these the other day as well. So nice. The community getting smaller and smaller, the world getting smaller and smaller, the community getting bigger, perhaps you could say. But the distance that we can travel via the internet, pretty incredible, the way we can connect with people around the world in this way. Super nice. And actually, this is something that Paul Brook was really all about. Paul Brook was very early on really busy on forums, engaged, talking to drummers all over the world when the internet was still a pretty new thing, with a website, always sharing ideas. Even on his deathbed, he was still there transcribing things on his laptop, sharing his thoughts on forums until he couldn't do that anymore. So really important that we keep this sense of connection and we don't let this isolation time separate us, drive us apart, make this the new normal. Remembering, of course, the tools that we have here online are really wonderful and really important, but also getting out and sharing the language we love, music, drums, so important. So if you've been drumming along, playing some singles, hopefully you're a little bit warmer now, a little bit more relaxed, seated comfortably, and ready for a new little test. I'm going to get it up on my phone so I can have a look at it. So what we're going to do, first of all, with singles, very similar to yesterday, is 1 E and a 2 E and a da 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 da. Oh, 1 E and a 2 E and a da 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 da. 1 E and a 2 E and a da 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 da. E and a 2 E and a da 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 da. These are triplets. Still singles. Yesterday we were doing eighth note triplet. This is much harder. 16th note triplet. Especially if you're a beginner. Always talking about using the voice. You see how it's helping me here? If this is too fast for you, I'm going to slow the click down in a second. Because we're also going to try this. The next part of the challenge is with paradiddles. 1 E and a 2 E and a I don't know if I can do the paradiddle thing. Just sent this morning. I want these lessons to be as inclusive as possible. So if this is too much for you, go back to some of my earlier videos. and come back to this one later. Let's slow the metronome down a little bit. Look at that again. I'm going to take it right down to 60. We were on 80 as we usually are for all of that. Right down to 60. Excuse me. Coffee coming back. 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a ta 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 1 E and a 2 E and a ta 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 right left 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 ta 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 ta. Tricky, right? Ta 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 ta. I'm calling this the time teaser. Jack's drum studio was called Time Drum Studio. So this is the time teaser. Perhaps the time tongue twister. We can of course play this with accents or without. He wrote it without. And the reason for that could be because when we get to the paradiddle version of this, then it's going to trip us up. But first, I'm going to try my own idea with this. I've just come up with this. Doubles. So we don't skip our double practice. Right, left, left, right, 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 left, left, 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 right, 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 left, left, 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 right, right, 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 left. Try not to tense up while you're doing this. Checking your shoulders. Checking your position. Nice relaxed wrists. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Doubles over triplets. Quite a tricky little thing. Right, right, left, left, 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 right, right, 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 left, left, right, It's a tricky one, this one, but I think it's good to push you guys. It'd be interesting to know who agrees. Do you want to be pushed more? Bearing in mind, I want to keep this as inclusive as possible for all levels. That means not letting the More advanced players getting bored. Get bored, but also not excluding the beginners. Right, right, left, left, 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 right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. If you want more difficult stuff, or this is too difficult for you, let me know in the comments or in the chat. Right, right, left, left, right, 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 left, left, 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 nice and relaxed. Right, right. Pillow talk. No excuses for not practicing. Doesn't matter where you are. Grab some wooden spoons, grab a pillow, grab whatever you can. Right, right, left, left, 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 right. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, 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 right, right, 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 left, left, right. I think I need to get a whiteboard next to me here, so I can write these things down. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Old school. I'm sure there's fancy things I could do with editing, but I don't want to do that. I want to keep this as easy as possible for myself. He says, so we can focus on sharing, on drumming. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. He says, famous last words. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Let's turn the click off then and have a little look at this paradiddle variation. So the paradiddle variation is super cool because it means we turn around and have a left-hand lead in the second bar. It's a 2-bar phrase. 1E and a 2E and a right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, 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 right, left, right, 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 left, left, right, left, right, right, left, 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 right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left. Tricky, right? You don't have to play the accents. Right, 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 left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, 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 right, left, left, right, left, right, right, 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 left, right, left, left, left. I love the ways the accents fall across the triplet though. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left. Let's see how that feels with the metronome. Was I even going faster than the 60 BPM when I was demonstrating it? Who knows? Maybe you. Maybe I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right. Difficult to get your mouth round. Time tongue twister. Left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, 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 left, right. This would sound great phrased between two voices, I think. I'm going to try that in a second. Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, 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 left, left. My old drum teacher still testing me after all these years. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, 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 right, left, right, right, left, right, Jack had added, I'm going to have to stop to say this, a little bonus element to this teaser, which if you're on Pillow Talk, you cannot do. You can maybe set up some other pillows, other elements. And I can't do it because I don't have toms here, but he suggested throwing the accent, the first note of each paradiddle, to a tom, floor tom with the right hand, high tom with the left hand. I'm going to just quickly show you that between the ride cymbal and the hi-hat, ride cymbal with the right hand, hi-hat with the left. Maybe I'll put a little bass drum or a little drum pad with each of those cymbals as well. That's pretty cool. I think that would sound better between toms and snare, actually. Really, really nice. Thank you, Jack. So, triplets, 16th note rate triplets and 16ths together. Really, really good thing to practice. Takes us back to the Dennis Chambers lesson yesterday, that lovely groove from Dennis Chambers. Really, really nice. Good stuff. So what should we do next? I've kept it a little bit freer today. Oh, of course, secondary beat rolls, because I wanted to talk, change my order, switch things up a little bit, talk at the beginning. But yes, secondary beat rolls. Let's get back to our 80 BPM and an 8th note rate. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back to our regular program. 4 and pillow talk. Guys, if you're using pillow, attach the pillow in some way to your chair in front of you or whatever it's balanced on. I'm using a bungee cord here, and yes, it is on my drum stand. I realize that, but that's just for other demonstrating purposes. Actually, I really wanted to put it on a chair to show that you don't need anything apart from a chair, 2 chairs and a pillow. Chair you're sat on, chair the pillow's on. 3 and 4 and right, right, left, left, 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 right, left, left, right, 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 right, left, left. But it is incredibly frustrating when the pillow starts to slide away from you, or it can be. So that is why I'm using a bungee cord. You could use some gaffer tape. You could use some normal tape, a sequence of elastic bands joined together. Left, right, right, left, left. Just some common or garden string. I'm using myself here. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. I've got to keep, the banter a little bit for the older guys, I realize now as well, with this lovely 60-year-old gentleman. I wonder if he's tuning in to this one, giving him a run for his money with sixteenths and triplets with paradiddles. One and two and three and four and one and two and three and four and two and. Checking your posture, leaning back just a little bit. Nice relaxed wrists, arms, shoulders, neck, brain, hips, knees, ankles, toes, everything. Really checking that we're in a good form, good position, really supporting ourselves. Got a nice little bit of air between the elbows and the ribs. Not too much. Imagining just a couple of books between your elbows and ribs. That's the kind of space we want there. If we're squeezing in, look at that. It even looks terrible, right? That's no good. And if we're out here, I can feel it straight away. Terrible as well. All of these things, it's not just hearsay. It's not just me making this up. There are good physiological reasons for this. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. To do with the way our bodies work. If you want to know more about that, the best thing to do is get a copy of, what's his name again? Oh, hang on. Jojo Mayer. Modern Weapons, Secret Weapons for the Modern Drummer. DVD from Jojo Mayer, where he goes really in detail on that. I talked about that in one of my earlier videos. But it's wicked because he gives you these lovely kind of X-ray drawings of how the human body, the skeletal system is working. Skeletal. Really important that we know this stuff if we want to carry on drumming, enjoying ourselves for the rest of our lives. And we do, right? In other exciting news, I've had some shoes delivered this morning. Haven't even opened the box. Haven't had new shoes for, I think, God, about a year. New trainers, maybe 2 years. Yeah, I haven't bought new shoes, new trainers. I bought some proper shoes for a wedding. But I haven't bought new trainers since I moved to Hamburg, so it must be 2 years. Crazy. 3 and 4 and 1 and style guru here. 4 and got my beans on toast t-shirt on today. Had beans on toast for breakfast on Sunday. Not a common thing in Germany. And since the coronavirus, the shops that do sell baked beans have all been sold out of baked beans. Normally they couldn't sell them for love nor money. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and, but I finally got a hold of some the other day. Great. Anyway, beans on toast. This is a good friend of mine. Wonderful, wonderful artist. Kind of folk singer, but sings very, very funny songs. Little kind of looks into humans, the world we inhabit. Very, very clever, witty guy. Recommend checking him out. Not so much drumming on his stuff, I don't think. I've only ever seen him play solo sets. He was playing here in Hamburg about a year ago when I got this t-shirt. Really good to see him. Jay. Lovely, lovely dude. Used to run a bar in Kentish Town. That's how I met him. Post-war years playing there. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is looking, sounding, feeling like $1 million, right? Am I right? £1 million? €1 million? Bail out, anyone? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Let's just try some 16ths. Let's not worry about our accent. Let's just get our doubles rolling. Because, of course, we've been looking at these lovely rolls last days. So it's good to get our doubles rolling. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and I'm counting them. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a. Still thinking about that secondary beat roll, but not worrying about bringing it out. I'm trying to get a little bit more evenness. At this speed, we can still pull out a little bit of that accent. Again, the voice, so helpful in this. To know what you're doing. 1 and 2. It does help if you know what you're doing. 1 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 the 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 the 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a bam. Good stuff. How is that feeling for everyone? Everyone feeling good? Feeling limber? A little bit achy? Warm? Still cold in the garage? Who knows? Just wanted to show you this. Look at this. All my old sheets from my old teachers. Right at the front here, just a lovely handwritten bit from Jack on some plain paper. If I skip a couple of pages forward, there we have just a normal bit of notation paper. This one from www.timedrumstudio.co.uk. It doesn't exist anymore, I don't think. Dr. Here. Wonderful, wonderful drum shop. If you're going to buy drums, why not go to Dr. online? Go to your local music retailer. Look for the nearest drum shop to you, even if it's the next town, next city, because these guys need your business. You can still get them online. But then you're not supporting Amazon or whoever. I don't mind about Amazon. I'm not here for a political rant. But these guys are so important to us as musicians. When we need sticks at the last minute, when we need whatever we might need, you know, some heads. We've got a gig that night. So look at that. Loads and loads of information. This is all information that I have here that I can look back through for inspiration anytime I want. How cool is that? So hopefully, if you haven't got all your sheets from my lessons printed out, then you're going to go out and do that, go back and do that later and get a lovely folder, get it organized. Perhaps you can even think about putting them into order for style or type of thing they are, whatever makes sense to you. Exercises, grooves, fills, that sort of thing, Latin studies, whatever. I also have a ton of folders there from my old college, which is all very well organized. These ones are not so well organized. And it's just wonderful to have that, even if you don't look at it for 10 years, which I probably haven't. Even if it just comes out every time you move house and you're like, yeah, great, look, that was nice. You shouldn't throw that stuff away. You shouldn't let that stuff just be on the floor getting coffee stains and getting kicked up and whatever. You shouldn't be getting coffee on the floor, really. So, yeah, take care of your music. It will take care of you. I wanted to say something else before I moved on, but it may have just dropped out of my brain. So, yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say. So let's look at the rudimental ritual, lesson 9. I'm going to break this up across 2 days because I want to go in a little bit more detail with you guys who know this already. into the second half of this lesson. So for those of you who don't know me, who don't know this, maybe your first time watching one of these videos, I teach from the Rudimental Ritual, which was taught by Alan Dawson and is in a wonderful book called The Drummer's Complete Vocabulary. Really, really recommend checking that out and getting a copy of that. Books, so important. All these materials are so important. DVDs of drummers, so important. I've talked about a few of the ones that inspired me these last days or the last 2 weeks. So lesson 9, we've got the Swiss rudiment starting now. The first one is the tap flam, the opposite of the flam tap. The tap comes at the start. Tap, flam. We've got a right hand to start off with, and then the left-handed flam. When we say a left-handed flam, we mean the loud note is coming from the left hand, the lead note, not the first note. So tap, flam, tap, flam. Nice and simple. Right, flam, left, flam, right, flam, yes, flam, right, flam, left, 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 flam. Got that? Ready to go? Let's get the metronome on. And we're going to play this as eighth notes. 2, 3, 4, tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam. Nice, relaxed, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam. Keeping everything except our accented flam note nice and low. Tap, flam, tap, flam. A little bit of sun coming out. Beautiful. Flam. It was snowing yesterday. Tap, flam. Very strange times. Flam, tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam. Pillow talk. How good does a pillow sound, really? Tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam. I prefer it to a practice pad, actually. Tap, flam. That's why I always practice with it. Tap, flam, tap, flam. I bought this expensive real feel practice pad years ago when I was first starting to play drums. I never used it. I just used a pillow still because I realized I didn't like this overly tight bounce that you get from the practice pad. I do feel a little bit differently now. I do like the feel of the Bernie Sanders practice pads. Not endorsed by them. I just like them, but partly because we used them at college. Tap, flam, tap, flam. What's Jose saying? Flam, tap, flam, tap, flam. It's a nice sound, isn't it? Flam, tap, flam, tap, flam. Pillow talk, real talk. Flam, tap, flam. Right, flam, left, flam. Right, flam, left, flam. Right, flam. We get this lovely kind of pendulum motion going on when we're getting our accents right with the hand that's coming up. Flam, tap, flam for the next accent, kind of swinging out of the previous flam. Tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam. So, tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam, tap, flam. Let's start to speed these up a little bit. Tap, flam, 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 tap, 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 tap. As we get faster, the movement's going to get smaller, more concise. In theory. And I lose it. So there we go. My connection is unstable. I wonder if this means you can still see me. My connection is stable again. Beautiful. So that is the tap flam. Next up, the oddly named pataflafla. 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 So this guy is a non-alternating rudiment. We practice first the right hand lead version, the right hand side version, and then the left hand side version. It's a little bit like a single stroke roll with a flam on the first and last note of each group of 4. So we've got flam, left, right, flam. Flam, left, right, flam. Now, of course, that last flam is going to lead into the next flam because it's going to start over again. Flam, left, right, flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam. First flam, right hand high, last one, left hand high, with that lovely pendulum motion again, where we're swapping sides. Flam, left, right, flam, 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 flam. I love this rudiment. Flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam, left, right. I'm going to show you a little trick that I like with this, if I can play it later. Flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam. I remembered it in bed last night when I was thinking about this lesson. And I haven't played it for ages, so God knows if I can still do it. Flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam, left, right, flam, left, right, flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam, left, right. Super, super nice rudiment. Let's look again with the metronome. 3 and 4. Flam, left, right, flam, 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 flam, right, flam, flam, right, right, flam, flam. Don't worry if this is new to you. Flam, flam, left, right, flam, left, right. You could slow the video down, of course. Search out some other videos where it's explained in a little bit more detail. I'm just whizzing through a little bit because I'm partly aiming this at my students and people who have some experience, but I will be coming back to doing full lessons on the rudimental ritual at some point. Flam, left, right, flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam, right, flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam, right, flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam, left, right, flam, flam. So if we want to play the left-hand version, which we're going to do in a second, then we just got to invert the thing. Start with a left-hand flam, then a right-left, and then a right-hand flam to finish. Let's look at that slowly. Left-hand high, flam, right, left, flam, 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 flam. This flam action separates the men from the boys, so to speak. It really, really sounds super cool when you get this in context on the snare, and so worth doing the work for these. So many people ignore their flams, as I was saying in my earlier lesson on flams a few days back. So let's look at that again. Let's put the metronome on, in fact. 2, 3, and 4, and flam, right, left, flam, 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 right, left, flam, 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 right, left, flam, 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 flam, left, flam, flam, right, 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 flam, flam, right, left, flam, flam, right, left, flam, flam, right, left, flam, flam, left, flam, flam, right, left. Currently, of course, we're playing these at an 8th note rate, flam, flam, right, left, but they sound super cool when you get it together and you can do these for a 16th note feel. Kind of part of the trick I'm going to show you later if we have time. Flam, flam, right, left, 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 flam, right, left, flam, flam, right, left, flam, flam, right, left, flam, flam, right, left, flam, 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 right, left, flam, flam, right. That'd be interesting to try this with Jack's teaser idea over triplets as well. I never tried that before, never tried. Pataflafla across triplets. Talking of triplets, so we don't run out of time, let's move on. Do work on those pataflaflas, they're so cool. That's something I'm going to go into in a minute. I'm getting overexcited as always. To finish off rudiments for today, we have the Swiss Army triplet. This for years, in fact, was taught to me by Jack as well, for years was a favorite of mine and still is. I always preferred the left hand sticking and was a bit lazy about practicing the right hand sticking, which is caught me off guard recently because I've realized there's a load of wicked options with the right hand variation. You should always practice both variations. You just never know what different possibilities it's going to open up, what different voicings it's going to kind of create for you and give you ideas for. So let's look first at this tricky right hand sticking. Tricky for me, I can play the left hand version much faster and more confidently. We've again starting with a right hand, following with a right hand, and then a left hand. It's a triplet. That's all of it. Flam, right, left, flam, right, left, flam, right, left, flam, right, left. Right hand high for that flam, flam, right, left, flam, right, left. Left hand staying nice and low. Flam, right, left, flam, right, left. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Flam, right, left, flam, right, left, flam, right, left, flam, right, left. Pratita, 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 pratita. So this is super cool as a triplet. I'm going to show you some ideas, hopefully today, with that as well. But we can also put it across a 16th note, adding some singles or something else at the end to make it kind of work out, make the maths work out. But let's try this now, as always, with a metronome. Always practice with a metronome, kids and kidults. 1, 2, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Flam right, left, 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 flam right, left. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Flam right, left, flam right, left, flam right, left, flam. What's actually happening here is we've got 2 doubles that cross over each other with the flam. Flam right, left, flam right, left, flam right, left, flam. If I take the left hand away, you can see that's just a double with the right hand. And if I take the right hand away, the left hand's almost playing a shuffle. Of course, we need to flam it. So it's not quite bang on a shuffle. Flam right, left, flam right, left, flam right, left, flam right, flam right, left, flam right, left, left, flam right, 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 left, flam right. Triplet, 2 triplet, 4 triplet, triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Lovely. Oh, I'm aware that I need to move on, but I just enjoy playing it so much. You can play with that. Flam. Play with the volume. As long as you've still got a quiet note on the flam. At the start of the flam, opening the flam. Making up new terminology as I go along. Yeah, let's look at the left hand side. Same deal. Left hand high, right hand low now. For our flam, and then a left hand, then a right hand. Dead simple, the opposite of what we were just doing. Flam left, right, flam left, right, flam left, right, flam left, right. This is the one I love, because there's a ton of cool stuff that I first learned with this, but I've discovered there's loads of cool stuff with the other one as well. So don't take that to heart. Practice them both. Right. 3, 4. Flam right, left, flam right. Flam left, right, flam left, 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 right. Flam left, right, right, flam left, right. Flam left, right, flam. Staying nice and relaxed. I hope you've all been staying nice and relaxed. Thinking about your posture. Thinking about your weight going through the stool. Feet nice and placed squarely on the floor or on your pedals. Flam left, right, 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 right, flam left, 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 right. What do you think, guys? Should I spend less time on the warm-up and more time on the rudiments so I can go into a bit more detail? Or is this enough of the rudiments? I'm going to come back around all the rudiments anyway. But still, well, depending how long we're in lockdown for, might go around them a lot of times. Flam left, right, 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 left, right, flam 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 left, left, right, flam left, right, flam left, right, flam left, right, talking about community today, of course. I came up with an idea. Instead of clapping for the NHS, what if we could share our skills a little bit more? Just like I am here. Flam left, right, 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 flam left, right. Part of my idea, of course, with number one drummer was that everyone, I believe, should have equal access to education. And music and the arts, not so easy for everyone to access. People with less money, of course, can't afford to go for a teacher. People with lots of money, let's get lots of teachers. So, came up with this idea, free skills for key kids. Key workers, of course, not just being doctors and nurses, but also bin men, people in the local supermarket, or even the corner shop. People who deliver the goods to the supermarket, the truck drivers, etc. Guys in warehouses, guys who are getting all of our stuff delivered to us, all our post at the moment, all of our millions of Amazon orders. So perhaps if you have a cool skill that you can share with another, and you maybe know some people who would appreciate you taking the time to spend an hour with their kid once a week, teaching them this skill over Skype, over Zoom. Maybe you could do a YouTube channel like I am. Whatever medium it takes. Of course, in the future, this could be face-to-face as well. But at the moment, these guys would really appreciate it, as they're still having to go to work every day, unlike us who are on lockdown in isolation. Could be a kid anywhere in the world. Could be that you start teaching someone a second language or helping them with their speaking. All sorts of options online, and eventually when we're back in the real world, free skills for key kids. It's got a nice ring to it anyway. Can we start a movement where we just support each other a little bit more, share our ideas a little bit more? Just like that wonderful support I got from the drumming community at Dr. In Leamington Spa when I was growing up. Really, really cool. I think that's a good idea. And so, on that note, I'd just like to share one more little trick with you, something for you to just kind of try and work out. It's just a few pataflaflas with a couple of tap flams, possibly a flam accent. I haven't even worked out what I'm doing. I just like the rhythm, and I'm kind of not bothered about how you stick it, which is why I'm not telling you exactly what it is. I just think it sounds cool. And I think there's a couple of ways I've worked out you can stick it. I found the one I find most comfortable, but depending what rudiments you've been practicing, you might find other ways more comfortable. And there's kind of different logics to that I won't go into now. The basic idea of it is the idea being, if you were to take a normal accented line of singles, and just flam the accents, just sounds super cool. Ooh. See that tension coming into my body as I try and speed it up? That's what I'm telling you guys not to do. Don't be like me, guys. So that is a really, really nice rhythm, really nice idea. Any pattern you can think of. You can you can do that. Anything you want to mess around with, just go, I've got an accented pattern here. What if I was to flam it? What if you're then take that around the toms a little bit, stuff like that. Could be super, super nice. So have a mess around with that. And these Swiss Army triplets are going to come back and bite you in the bottom tomorrow, because there's two variations that we haven't looked at today that I wanted to go a little bit more into detail with tomorrow. So I'm going to give you some tricks and tips with the Swiss Army triplet and these two variations as well. Tomorrow. They're really, really cool. I've done this with some of you guys before, I think. If you're a student of mine, if you're not a student of mine and you want to be, get in touch. Hey, promotion. Like, subscribe, all the normal things. Share with your friends, family, your cat, dog, whoever might be interested. Your dog, I think, probably. And I will be back same time every day this week, 10 a.m. UK, 11 a.m. Central European time. I hope you've had a wonderful one, and I hope you have a wonderful day today, and take care of yourselves, and don't forget to tell people that you love them and all that sort of stuff, because, you know, world's crazy right now, right? We all need to know that. Awesome. Guys, take care and goodbye.